Welcome into the live stream here from McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal. That's Tyler.
What it is, sir?
How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Just another football Monday. Kind of busy Monday here, but that's okay. Got a lot going on. AJ's already waiting in the green room.
He must really like that green room.
Well, there's a lot. The candy is amazing.
Yeah.
Got kind of Thanksgiving themed this week.
What'd you put in there?
Orange, brown M&Ms.
Okay.
Put it in a big glass bowl, of course, but I put some fresh leaves under there to make it feel festive for him. He can probably see the beginning of the Christmas tree getting ready to get started.
Gotcha.
It's a large tree. It's going to take a while to get everything completely on there, but I got all of our production people working on that in the green room just to make AJ feel good. You know, some people show AJ respect.
I mean, some people do.
Some people do. I mean, that's what I try to do. I mean, I feel like he deserves that.
Yes.
I mean, as just a person, not even, hey, you know, this guy used to be a quarterback at Alabama. He was an NFL quarterback. He won national championships. I just view it as he's a fellow man.
Did you call him and let him know that you had stuff in the green room?
No, I just wanted to make sure that he. I mean, had I, let me put it this way. Had I thought, hey, there's not going to be anything in the green room, I would have called and warned him and said, hey, listen, make sure you grab some lunch or something because we had an issue and there's nothing in the green room. But because I knew that there would be this smorgasbord of candies and things waiting on him, I didn't call him and disrupt him. But I would have.
It's more than fair. More than fair.
Because if I were going to disappoint him or hit him with bad news, I would want to do it personally.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to just like, I don't know.
Tweeting at him?
I mean, I could put out a tweet that goes, hey, the green room's empty. There's nothing in there.
Yeah. He's probably dying over there right now.
I mean, but I wouldn't. Who would do that? That's
who would do some shit like that?
I don't know.
All right. Let's crank her up, dog.
Right,
I'm ready to go.
You're ready to roll here.
I'm so interested to see what AJ's got to say today. You have no idea. I've been waiting all weekend.
Welcome into episode 235 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That is Tyler Siskey here on this Monday, November the 18th. Hope everybody had a happy and safe weekend as we, get this week and the next week's Thanksgiving week. And after that, we get into the Christmas season and all of those things. So hopefully everybody is having a wonderful late fall that we're brought to you each and every show by our friends at Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
Scoops, I'm rocking with the Harvest Grape today. I'm excited. I love it. Gets my mind right. I need a little rain today. I'm glad we didn't. I hope AJ doesn't drink all the rain in the green room because he's going to be turnt when he comes in here anyway. So I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad we didn't have any extra rain in the green room today. Just gave him one, so he's good to go.
Well, we just put a few in there. There's a few in there. There's some saucy nugs.
A couple saucy nugs, yeah.
You know, and some M&Ms.
Yeah,
just stuff. We like to take care of people. We like to be good to people. That's what we try to do.
That's what we do. The Cooper Chevrolet chat is already bumping, and it's going to be bumping today. Tennessee fan will be in here bumping today. AJ's going to get them bumping today. It's going to be bumping. And to remind everybody, you can get incredible red tag discounts and finance rates on new Chevy models like 0% APR at our good friends at Cooper Chevrolet there in Anniston, Alabama. Or fantastic Black Friday deals on other new Chevys, Buicks, and pre-owned and certified used vehicles. Over 375 new and used priced all to sell today. So give our good friends at Cooper Chevrolet in Anniston there a call, area code 256-236-4481. Scoops are also brought to you by our good friends, Brandon, and our good friends at PTG Outdoors. They are a Caymans boats dealer. They both have fresh and saltwater boats. They sell and service Mercury outboards. They do custom marine electronic installations with Garmin, Humminbird, and Low Ranch products. You can get all of your fishing needs and custom golf cart retrofits where they replace all of the batteries with a single lithium battery. Located right there in the great city of Grenada, Mississippi. Or, more importantly, everybody listen up. It's Black Friday coming up. You're going to be shopping.
That's true.
You got an outdoorsman in your life? Or do you like to fish yourself? If you want to get yourself a Christmas gift, go to ptgoutdoors.com. And when you check out, do not forget to enter the promo code MPW. What's
How
that going
could
to do?
anyone forget that?
You can't forget it. What is that going to do? That's going to enter you for the month of November. Okay, everybody that puts MPW in the promo code in the month of month of November is going to get, at the end of the month, which we're coming up on, is going to get a Garmin Tread Power Sport GPS with Ride Radio. You put yourself in a competition for the drawing for the Garmin Tread Power Sport GPS with Ride Radio. Big time Christmas gift for any of your outdoor people.
Absolutely. AJ McCarron about to join us. Speaking of the green room,
let's do it. I mean, I'm excited.
I'll let you begin the introduction as I cue him up.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. You know, Pat McAfee, he has Aaron Rodgers, but who do we have? McCready and Siskey. We got AJ McCarron, the 3-time national champ, the 3-time world champ, and as of last night at midnight, the coach of the 8U champions of the Metairie Classic in Metairie, Louisiana.
Let's go.
With his 5-year-old. AJ sent me videos, and his 5-year-old was hitting piss missiles off the fence at 5 years old. Welcome, AJ McCarron.
The Metairie Classic champion.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I told the boys last night. So our normal head coach was out, stayed at home, was sick. His son Sam and his wife Kayla, but we won. And so I told him I'd bring the trophy to show on the podcast today.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, let's go.
Look at that. Let me tell you, that's the reason they say you can never take the Metairie away. Once you win Metairie, it's yours forever. It's yours forever.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Look at that trophy.
It was awesome.
The name of the tournament?
I couldn't tell you.
Classic. The Metairie Classic.
The Metairie Classic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love how they name these tournaments. So did they get rings and stuff? Did they do rings?
Yeah. It was. They had some sweet rings. It was a big U-Trip tournament for them down there, and that was the first time we had ever really traveled anywhere. And I tell you, it was also pretty cool seeing how many fans our podcast has down there. I had so many LSU fans come up and. Man, I love listening to y'all and y'all's podcast.
Tell me the trophy one more time. You got it there by. I mean,
so I guess it's called the Gulf South U-Trip tournament.
Let's go.
Gulf South U-Trip tournament. I mean, it's not the Magnolia Bowl wood chop trophy,
No.
but it's nice.
Where is that going to go in your trophy case? Is that going to be right next to which natty is it going next to?
No, I'm giving it back to our head coach. I just wanted to show it. The boys asked, and
I think you should tell Catherine. Listen, this is going on the mantle right now, and I can't imagine that she would object to that. She'd be fine.
Listen, all the trophies. My two oldest, Trip and Cash, are pissed at my youngest, Cruz, because every trophy they've gotten this past season in baseball is destroyed by our youngest, Cruz. He gets them off the shelves and just demolishes these trophies. So we have to watch where we put them.
Love it. So what time did you end up getting back to the crib?
Whew, we didn't get back till about midnight. It was a long day. I mean, we had a long weekend of sports. That's why I was probably so proud of the boys. But 2 basketball games on Saturday, and then we had to wake up early, 5:36 to head to Metairie and start baseball early. And hell, the championship game wasn't until about 7:30, 8 o'clock, somewhere in there. I mean, it was a long, then another 2.5 hours back home.
No, sir.
It was a long day.
See, AJ's going through it for the first time, so you're all gung ho. When you turn into OG, by the time Cruz goes through it, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, we ain't doing that shit. Yeah, we're not." He has no chance.
You ain't telling the kids no.
Oh, 100%. I parked Knox. They're still practicing. I was like, he's done. I called Drew. I was like, when they were still no. You got I have lost. I'm telling you now. I'm just, in my opinion, once you're going through the last one, it's just like it's it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it.
No, I mean, it's definitely tiring as a parent, but one thing I tell the boys, I'm like, listen, as long as you want to play and work hard, if you work your ass off, like I'm all for it. I'll sacrifice some sleep. Hell, I'm already a night owl anyways.
That's not the problem. See, where I get, all kidding aside, is where I got with Knox is he loves everything. My little one loves all sports. And when he was talking about he didn't want, the second he started not wanting to do it,
Yeah.
I cut it because I didn't want to burn him out. I don't want to burn him out. That's my whole
100%.
So,
yeah.
All right, we're going to hop right into it, AJ. I know you've been waiting all weekend. So, AJ, get a little behind the scenes here. AJ called me out of the blue on Friday, and I was out running some errands. He's like, hey, I'm about to post something. Make sure you're okay if I tagged it. And he was like, yep. And so I was like, I'll let you get the background. I don't want to butcher the situation of the story. I'll let you give the background of kind of what happened, kind of fill the fans in that didn't see it on Friday. AJ got a nice little message on social media from the St. Louis Battlehawks, and I think it caught him by surprise a little bit. And he would like to further discuss. What'd you say you were going to do? You're going to further discuss the details on McCready and Siskey on MAC 10 Monday at 2:00. Well, it is now it's 2:11 on McCready and Siskey, and sir, the floor is yours.
Well, I felt like, when it came out, there were so many UFL reporters talking about, all these different speculations on what was happening and everything and why it was happening. So I'm like, well, hell, it caught me by surprise in a way. Now, listen, to tell the backstory, I knew this was we were going to part ways. It's one of those things you could just feel at the end of last season from a coaching style, environment, everything that it was just different. So I knew we were probably going to end up parting ways. I hadn't heard anything. So what it came down to is I had multiple coaches that I know in the league, that I have respect for, they have respect for me, reach out multiple times. This was probably 2 months ago, a month ago, like, hey, word is they're going to start gearing up to try to trade you out of St. Louis. And I said, well, I told them then, I said, well, to these coaches, I'm not going to be traded. I'm not going to let them decide where I go if that's the case. And I'll just refuse it. And then it kind of died down. And then I had multiple coaches, even more coaches, reach back out to me about 2 weeks ago and say, hey, word is it's about to start as we're getting closer to, January when everything starts gearing up for the UFL, and said again, hey, they're trying to trade you. So I said, all right. Well, I reached out to Beck and just said, hey, what's the deal? And he said, hey, my mother just passed away, which, felt very, very bad. Or mother-in-law, I can't remember. But felt sorry for that. That's always a tough thing to go through. But he said, I'll reach out to you in a couple of days. And so I was like, all right. Well, we ended up kind of going back and forth on when he was going to reach out. He called, and our GM was also on the phone. Didn't know. I thought it was just between me and Beck, because Beck, Dave Bowler's our GM. He doesn't make any decisions. Beck makes all the decisions on everything. So I thought it was just going to be a conversation between us two. He says, listen, it's not performance-based by any means. I still think you're the best quarterback in the league and everything. I appreciate everything you've done. I thanked him for all the things that we had as a team and all that. And he said, we're going to part ways and go a different route. And I said, yeah, that's understandable. It's part of the business. And then he said, hey, we called some teams today about trading you. And our GM kind of butted in, and I said, all right. When the GM butted in, I said, well, who'd you call? And he said, well, we only called one team. I said, okay, well, you said teams. And he said, we haven't heard back from the team we called. And I said, all right, I mean, none of that matters. I said, but listen, if you're trying to trade me, I'm just going to deny it and refuse to trade. And I said, and he said, what do you mean? Are you done playing? Are you hanging them up? And I said, no. I said, I'm 34. My body feels great. Hell, before I had that high ankle sprain last year, later in the season, I felt like I was playing the best ball, like moving, everything, the best I'd done in years. And I said, I'm not. He said, well, we own your rights forever as long as you want to play in the UFL. And I said, no, you don't. My contract ended in August with how the UFL contracts work. They end in August. And the reason that is so they don't have to pay insurance, health insurance for guys. And so it ends early. But I said, you only have my rights till the start of the January or February. It's somewhere in that time frame. And do what?
The business year of the UFL.
Yeah, correct. And I said, so I'll just wait till my rights run out, and then I'll choose to, sign with a team if I want to sign with somebody else. I said, but I'm not going to allow you to trade me. I said, since we're not on the same team anymore, I was like, I'm not in the business to help you out. And it, as you can see, still rocking my St. Louis hat. I got to get this out there. Like, I absolutely love the city of St. Louis. Unbelievable people, the love for football, passion, like the way they treated my family, everybody in the organization, from every coach I got to deal with. I truly had an unbelievable time. The fans were unreal. Some of the best literally in the country. It's sad that the NFL got taken away from them, because that city, whether it's hockey, soccer now, baseball with the Cards, like it's unbelievable passion there. But I just told him, I said, I'm not in the business to help you out either, because I know if you trade me, you're going to get multiple, at least two good players from the other team. And I don't want to hurt my new team as well. And if I want to play, I want to be able to choose. And so then it went on from there to, I think, which is understandable, right? It was a little, you could tell tensions were high on the phone call. Beck was probably pissed that I was talking to other coaches, or just hearing from other coaches that they were, going to trade me. And he got in his feelings a little bit and said, well, I'll just turn y'all in for tampering, because that's against the league. And he tried to assume who I was talking to. And so I told him, I said, you can't assume because you don't know. And he named one coach that he knows I'm friends with, and especially because we've talked during the season to him on the phone. And so I said, Beck, you can't assume anything. But I said, listen, we have a friendship, a relationship, and they wanted to let me know. I appreciate that. But so it just kind of went from there to, with the tampering deal kind of pissed me off a little bit. And then it cooled down, and he said, hey, well, I want to send you out the right way. I want to, we're going to make a post eventually. It'll be some time, and we'll get back in touch with you so we can allow you to, make a post with us and put it out there and show your appreciation for the city and all that. We hang up. I thought everything was great. I'm like, well, at least they're giving me that opportunity to, make a statement with the team and an organization that I'd also sacrificed a ton for, and tried to bring a love and a good product on the field, and play through a lot of injuries, and Beck knows, I don't need to talk about him, but Beck knows what I played through, and especially the injury last year when he asked me to play, because I wasn't going to play. I was, hell, I had even talked to him about, hey, I'm done from playing this year. I'm just going to go back home and get the surgery and get rehab early. And so I stuck it out. But we come home after school 2 days later or a day later, and I think it was maybe 2. And we're upstairs, and Tripp comes to me and is like, Dad, are you done playing with the Battlehawks? I'm like, I don't, what do you mean? And he said, well, they said that they released you. And so that's how I found out is I saw a post. I was not called, was not warned, was not given an opportunity to put out a post with the team and the organization like I was told. And so I read it. I think the part that really pissed me off more than anything was that just not giving me, I felt like, my due to be able to put something out with the team and the organization and do it the right way and kind of just make what I felt like was a half-assed post. And to have AB's quote in there and not have a quote from me, like thanking the city and everything, I felt like was shitty on his part, because he's the one that ran it, and I know he did. He controls the media. He does everything for it. So I was thankful, at least for the post and happy for that. But sucks that I had to find out from Tripp and find out through Instagram and not given a heads up or a call that it was happening. And I think he was pissed and probably got put out a lot sooner than what I was told, because he found out, hey, you don't have his rights. He has to sign back with you. And he found out from some people that, listen, you don't have his rights to trade him. And it probably pissed him off, and it probably, put it out there. But that's part of it. I think the funniest part of his quote at the end was making it and players and people a little about him with respect for AJ, that we wanted to provide him a clear path forward as he decides what is next in his football future. Like, we've already talked, brother. I want to play. Don't make it seem like you're doing something for me.
Because reading that makes it sound like you're leaning towards retiring, and that they wanted to make it a clean path for you to make that decision.
Yeah, 100%. And he knows that's not the case. Like, he knows I still want to play in the UFL. If it's the right fit, and there, of course, it would have been the right fit. And but he also knows I can still play in the NFL and have that opportunity. So it really pissed me off. Like, that last part of the quote was like, it wasn't very truthful. And, and trust me, I want to be pissed off a lot more than I am right now. But Catherine asked me coming into the day, and so did my mom, hey, please don't say any F-bombs and just don't say anything. So I'm trying to,
this is the part you gotta be straight. This part right here is this is
right.
The part right now.
You're being diplomatic. You're being very diplomatic.
Catherine messaged me the other day and said that every time that she was very upset at his language on the show, and that every time he curses, he owes her $50. $50. At my house, it's a 25-cent curse jar. At my house, at AJ's house, it's a $50 curse jar.
God, your house was like $5,000 in it right now.
I've already paid the house off.
Good God.
But so, I mean, that's what it came down to.
That's the heaviest curse jar in the history of curse jars.
That's what it came down to. So, listen, I'm talking to other teams to see if it's a good fit, and if there's anything, if there's any way possible, I want to come back with a vengeance, and I want to face them twice. I want to go to somebody that faces them twice a year and put it on them. So we'll see if there ends up being a fit and it ends up working out. But I just felt like it wasn't done the right way, and that's part of business. Hell, you can't ask for everything. There's going to be things, right? That's part of life. But I just felt like I was due a little more respect with how it went down than what I was shown. But it's part of business. Can't cry about it, and I don't want to be in my feelings on it too much.
Morgan Mama, thank you for the super chat. She says, as a Missourian and Battlehawks fan, St. Louis will always love you and appreciate what you did here, AJ. So and there's other fans. Amanda said, we love you, AJ. You got Battlehawks fans in here that aren't happy with the way that you were treated by their team.
Yeah, listen, I absolutely love the city. It was literally one of the best top 3 places I've ever played. The fan base is unreal there. It really, the passion they have for sports in general is something that it reminds you of the University of Alabama. Like they are nuts for their teams, and it's awesome to be a part of that.
Well, you could tell by the attendance too, right? I mean, that was one of the few places in the league that was every single week was packed out, and I think they still miss the Rams leaving town, and they've always been a good city. And then, I imagine you won't have a difficult time finding a job considering you were MVP 2 years ago and was well on your way to a second straight MVP until you got hurt. So, they kind of took you out of the discussion once you got hurt and missed some time, but. I think it's particularly good quarterback play in that league. I'm sure it won't be be hard for you to find a job.
Yeah, listen, I think I can, like you said, I think I can play at a very high level, and I think other teams see that. Listen, it's part of business, right? Like it might not work out, and there might be another path, but I'm not closing the door because hell, I'm still training. I'm moving great. The surgery went, fantastic. So I know I can play at a high level. I just want it to be the right fit and a team that, really wants to win and win a championship and have that experience.
Yeah, I think the one thing, I'm a little biased, not a lot. I'm just a little bit biased, Scoops, not a lot. But the one thing that, besides, I've said this about you. I'm going to give you an honest, fair evaluation. I've always said this about you. I get asked about comparisons between you and then Jake. Jake Cover, because I know I had you both, and then other guys, Matt Corral, just arm talented guys, Ryan Apple, a bunch of dudes, right? And so I always say this about you is whatever you've ever put in your hand, whatever kind of ball you had in your hand, whether it be a baseball, basketball, or football, you're probably the most accurate human being I've ever seen with a ball in your hand ever, and any kind of ball. You can do things with baseball, basketball, football, didn't matter. But the one thing that from a quarterback standpoint that makes you who you are and you'll never change it, because I think that's the part of what makes you the best of what you do, is I've never been around a quarterback that makes the other 10 guys better like you did. You've always found a way to make the other 10 guys better. And that is the number one job of a quarterback. Can you make the other 10 guys around you better? And you have a way of leadership, a way of motivation, a way of getting the ball, getting guys to play for you. And so like I said, I don't think you're going to have a problem at all. Probably very soon, I imagine. So what's official next? Are you technically a free agent right now when it comes to UFL?
Yeah, which
how does that work? I'm confused on the business here.
So I just reach out. Like I know almost every coach in the league, but I've reached out to ones that I'd really like to play for. And there's some that I haven't reached out to that I would like to play for as well. Whether it's Birmingham, I haven't had a chance to talk to Coach Skip, but listen, I don't. I'm not closing any doors.
That wouldn't hurt ticket sales in Birmingham, would it?
Yeah. Listen, and everybody has their, every coach has their own way of wanting to do things, but I just kind of wanted to put it back out there because after, like Neal said, after that quote and statement that they released made it seem like I was done playing, and I'm not done playing.
Let's go, my guy.
Yep,
my guy. All right, anything else before then we can end this part and you can start cussing again?
No, I'm good. I'm ready to get the day going.
Let it be known, Catherine. Let it be known that he got through the entire statement. That was, dude, you went 19 minutes without cussing. Catherine, 19 minutes.
So you know what this means?
Tell me about it.
I'm going to tell you what it means. This means for the McCarron house tonight, they're not just going to have Wendy's nugs dipped in sauce.
No, sir.
No, sir. No, I got news for you, Catherine. What's going to happen as a reward for this behavior is you are going to have Wendy's new saucy nugs. And, Catherine, this is great news because this is going to take the crispy and spicy nugs that I know you already love, and it's going to turn them all the way up to 11.
So is he going to change his number now from 10 to 11 because of the saucy nugs?
He won't have to, but he's going to want to.
It's be Mac 11 Monday?
He's going to want to. All the boys are going to want to wear 11 when they go to the next Metairie Classic. This is off the chain because here's the deal. Here's the deal. I mean, there's a lot of all the different boys might not like the same thing, and that's okay.
It's fire
because you can have flavors like buffalo, you can have honey barbecue, you can have garlic parm, or, and hey, you never know. If you're a real heat seeker, you can try spicy ghost pepper, but you can only do this only on Wendy's signature spicy nugs. And listen, I dare you. I dare you. So you tell Catherine she should consider herself dared.
Yeah.
Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and prepare to nug like you have never nugged before for a whole new way to nug. It's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
You know what?
There's no point in even having the conversation in the McCarron house. Hey, AJ, what do you want for dinner tonight? Or, hey, Catherine, what do you want for dinner tonight? No, we already know. Wendy's saucy nugs.
That's true.
Saucy nugs.
And we got a lot of, we have a lot of St. Louis people in the chat today. A lot of St. Louis fans in the chat. And if sometime this year, okay, and you want to come wherever AJ ends up and you want to come see AJ play.
Yeah.
Let's say AJ's team, he's playing there or his team is playing in Birmingham.
Could be.
And you're coming from St. Louis to Birmingham.
Yeah.
And you drive through Meridian, Mississippi. You know what you should do? Stop by Kia of Meridian. Are you looking for an unbeatable deal?
Always.
Kia of Meridian has you covered with rates as low as 1.9% on new rides. Whether it's the ever-popular Telluride, the Sorrento, the Sportage, or the K5, we've got something for everyone. Plus, a huge selection on new and used vehicles. And here's the best part, AJ. Here's the best part, Battlehawk fans. When you drive through and you purchase something from Kia of Meridian, you get to spin the wheel.
Oh, my gosh.
Spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, or a TV, and more.
Let's go.
Don't wait. Come by Kia of Meridian today or call 601-483-6444 and drive away a winner today. AJ, Kia of Meridian. It's your road. It's your ride. It's your deal. Let's go. Speaking of deals, let me tell you who got a great deal this weekend. Kurt Signetti got a great deal this weekend.
Good day to be him. Good day to be
Kurt Signetti. And everybody was like, everybody had an opening. And they were like, oh, well, what if Kurt Signetti? And I was like, well, he's 63. This and that. He's 63. And, I got to remind you now.
God, I bet they bought some saucy nugs over the weekend.
Oh, don't you know they bought some saucy nugs. So our guy Signetti, by the way, love the guy. I think he's doing a fantastic job. Probably front runner for Coach of the Year as of right now. Signetti agrees to an 8-year, $72 million deal that runs through 2032. That will get him to 72 years old. That's $8 million a year, and if he decides to come back, they'll give him a $1 million retention bonus. Get you some of that. Let's go, Sig. Let's go, Sig. Hey, can we clap it? Hey, we got the applause button over there.
Yeah, we do.
We got, this is for AJ. This is for Scoops. And this is for Siskey. One time for my man Signetti. Let's go. Clap it up. Had a baby. Great day to Big Signetti. And shout out to there you go. Shout out to Indiana too for ponying up. It's first
Yeah.
time. Hey, shout out to Indiana. Let's go, Indiana. Let's go. Good job. Ponied up, said, "You're not coming to get my coach. We're keeping Sig here. We're keeping Sig here."
That's right.
Obviously, they were on a bye this week. Got that done before the Black Monday hit. I guess in a week or 2 weeks from today will be Black Monday. But we'll talk about a couple of moves here in a minute. But very happy for Sig and all the people. I got buddies at Indiana. They've been a Quick U client, so we're fired up for Quick U too. But good job. He'll be there through 2032. All right. Little interesting trend going on today. It almost was like Group of Five Black Monday here. Tom Herman, about an hour ago, Tom Herman is reportedly going to be parting ways with FAU. We got some friends on the staff there. They've been on our show. So hopefully everything gets worked out there. But Tom Herman and FAU, they lost to Temple in overtime this weekend. So he was let go. UMass announced Don Brown has been let go. Stan Drayton from Temple has been let go. So that was 3. That means there's 8 G5 schools. 8. I saw Cole Kubelik's tweet today, and I was like, I'll be damned. I don't even know what the odds of this are. All four FBS teams. There's only 8 openings right now. All 4 of the FBS teams whose mascot are owls, their coaches have been let go. Temple, FAU, Rice, and who's the other one? Kennesaw State. All 4 of those. If you're not a good day to be on the Owls staff this week. So all 4.
I love Cole. Cole's one of the best in the business.
He's a funny dude.
Yeah.
I wish sometimes he's really good. He has to be polished sometimes because he's on the ESPN Disney track. I wish they had cut him loose and let him go a couple. He can crack you up. He's a good one.
Yeah.
On it, and the other thing that happened, I guess Friday, is Dave Aranda has been announced that he is going to be back for 2025.
Okay.
As we've said on this show, 864,219 times. These buyouts and this revenue sharing don't seem to be mixing. Right now, we have 0 Power 5 openings. I think we may have one due to retirement, maybe in a few weeks. But there's not anybody really in a hurry to go out there and cut loose on these buyouts.
So let's not dance around this one because I'm curious, and I get asked about it a lot, and I don't know. I think if there is an SEC opening, it will be the only one. What are you hearing about Sam Pittman in Arkansas? Because there was a couple of weeks ago when I was still up there, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
I don't. But there was a real buzz. I was strong, I'll put it that way, that he was going to retire. There's a hip issue. He's getting a little older. He's apparently been good with his money over the years. Yeah. Could walk away. I'm sure there's a severance kind of a thing where they wouldn't, whatever. And then there was a little buzz for like a week that, nope, he's good. He's going to go another year. And then Saturday happened. Then it's not like they played badly. I didn't see their game, but I saw the score.
Good game.
But
they had chances.
But that there's a little bit more of the buzz again that, hey, it might be retirement time. And look, if he's going to retire, it's got to happen pretty quickly, I guess. Although I don't really know how you manage all of that stuff with the calendar because the calendar's so weird. But there is a world, right, where you announce something, you're able to replace him quickly if whatever you're doing. He could coach, if assuming they beat Louisiana Tech, they'd be bowl eligible. He could coach a bowl game and have a goodbye and all that stuff, and then you could still carry on. But a new coach, frankly, having the ability to work the portal and not have to deal with preparing for a bowl game.
Yeah, I've heard mixed, I guess, kind of like you.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything definite. And, again, the people who I've talked to, I think they all should know a little bit, but it's been very mixed and very both-ended, so nothing very concrete. Look, I love Sam Pittman. I would, if it was my druthers, I got to choose, I would like for him to stay because I think he's great for the sport. I think he's a hell of a ball coach. I love the guy. I mean, I don't even know him, and I think he's great for the sport. I like his message. I like everything, how he coaches, everything about it. I think they are a better team. I think they've shown improvement this year, regardless of what the record states. I think they've played better. I think Petrino being there, and I've said this 1,000 times, so if you have heard it, I'll say it again. In my generation, I think Petrino is one of the best play callers and offensive minds of my generation. He's one of the very few people of my generation who has, and I say my generation, he's older than me, but guys that I grew up in the business with that can adapt to his personnel. And I think he's just, no matter what it is, I mean, the guy's coached Lamar Jackson to Mallet, he's coached all kinds of quarterbacks and can make it work, right? I think their combination, I would hate to see that end. And here's the other thing, why I say that. Why I would like Sam, there was nothing more for me as a football fan I would love to see Arkansas succeed. I think with revenue sharing coming in, they will be able to get the talent there to match the coaching. I think in the prior world of NIL, when it was no revenue sharing, I think there was just a huge gap between what they were spending and what the competitive teams are spending. Look, newsflash, the teams there's not very many teams that are spending money that aren't winning in this league.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of if you look who's spending and who's not spending, the record's not 100%.
Right.
But there is a correlation. I feel very safe saying this. There is a correlation between how much money you're spending on your roster and your record.
Well, like that Missouri-South Carolina game was a really good game on Saturday that kind of went under the radar a little bit, and those are two programs that are pretty invested in the NIL world.
They are invested. I think South Carolina probably they're not scared to go spend it on the top players. From a whole roster, they're probably not.
Right.
But I think they're showing that you can go buy the right ones. They've bought the right ones.
Well, boys and girls, they are not far away from being right there.
I mean, they're 9-3. They're going to be 9-3, I think.
They've done a great job with the kid Sellers.
Yeah. Every week.
He's gotten, I mean, he's still really raw, and you guys would know this better than I could even begin to describe it, but you can tell that they're starting to put some polish on that. And there is a ton of athletic ability in that frame.
Well,
wow.
What they've done on offense, like I didn't have a ton of time, but I went back and watched the highlights. Every touchdown pass, he had 5. Every touchdown pass he had, and where I think what has made them explosive from an offensive standpoint, like everybody knew about their defense to start the year, and they were struggling offensively, but their scheme from an RPO standpoint has grown insane. The first touchdown, Missouri, the safety, he throws a go ball to the left, but it was off an RPO deal. They brought corner Cat, and the safety was coming down. He was thinking it was 3 week. He's supposed to go guard the receiver. He goes down into the box. The corner does corner Cat, and there's nobody out there.
Or the corner busted, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. But I'm saying usually when the corner comes, they know that because they hear Cat in the call or something like it. They know for a fact, like, all right, I'm not messing this up. So usually it's on the safety. The safety looks back. I mean, the corner does this as he's blitzing, like telling the safety he points. The other 4 were all, the one to win the game was a shovel pass. So it was all some sort of RPO effect to it. They had a little, it reminded me their offense of a Urban Meyer effect when they had Tebow. Like the second one was a fake power QB run. Then he jumps up and tosses it to the tight end. Like they have grown an insane amount offensively in learning this guy's Sellers game and really playing to his strengths.
Yeah, we'll talk about this game right now. We're talking about it because I got on the list anyway. The Missouri-South Carolina game, probably arguably the best game in the SEC Saturday. Well, great game Saturday afternoon. Couple things here. Missouri, look, I'll give a shout-out to Missouri. I thought that was the best Missouri's looked all year long. I'm going to say this about 2 teams in losing efforts. I thought it was the best Missouri's looked all year long. Brady Cook, I don't even know how. Okay, this guy's got a broken wrist in his throwing hand. And this guy came out, and you wouldn't have known it. He played – we're like 2 or 3 weeks out. He hurt in the Alabama game. What's that, 3 weeks ago? And
yeah.
He breaks his wrist. He comes back. You would have never known it. Now, it was a whole different team with him in there, and he played his ass off. I thought Missouri's offensive front did a tremendous job keeping – protecting against that front. I think they did a good as job protecting against South Carolina's front as anybody's done all year. And that kept them in the game, and they just kept battling. They came back and they take the lead. And South Carolina had a chance several times in that game. South Carolina had a chance to open up this game. They had, I think, starting in the second quarter, they had 4th and less than 1 3 times and got stopped 3 times, and then got basically those turned into turnovers. But that's what kept them in the game early, and they just kept plugging, man. It was a great game. I thought Missouri looked as good as they've looked all year long in that game. Now you want to know what Missouri looks like coming in after this week, right? I want to see they got to go to Start Vegas this weekend. Are they still, are they in shutdown mode after they're out of it? Right, that's their 3rd loss. So they in shutdown mode. I'm genuinely curious because I can tell you this: Mississippi State's not in shutdown mode. They play hard. That's
not the game I got circled Saturday. I got one circled Saturday.
If you tell me Brady Cook shuts it down with 3 losses with a broken wrist, and you tell me that Drew Pine is the quarterback, I got it circled. If you tell me Drew Pine is the quarterback from Missouri going to Starkville after 3 losses and there's nothing to do but Brady, I got it circled.
Brady Cook might be the one exception to this because most guys would probably go, hey, I'm going to go get well now. But I think he's such a Mizzou guy through and through.
Yeah, he did it. I mean, and there's no reason he would have done it, right?
He came back because he loves the place.
Yeah.
Loves the program. It means more to him than it means to almost anybody. So he might not have that in him, but yeah, I mean, welcome to this era where now guys are going to go, okay, we're not in the playoffs. I need to take care of me.
And maybe he plays. I don't know. I'm something I'm looking at. If you told me that Drew Pine was playing the rest of the year and Brady Cook's going to get healthy, yeah, I got that game circled for sure. But anyway, I thought Missouri looked good on that. Before we get to the games, I did want to say this about coaches. I thought this was one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. I've never even heard of this. Brian Bohannon, who was let go at Kennesaw State a week ago, he showed up at the game. Kennesaw State played Sam Houston at home. He showed up at the stadium and greeted every one of his players going into the
I saw that.
Going into the stadium to play the game after he'd been fired. Hats off to him. That took had to swallow a lot of pride and was probably pissed off. But that's what coaching is about right there. That was very impressive. Yeah. I did want to say that. I thought that was very impressive. All right, let's go over a couple of these SEC games. So Texas, Arkansas, score was 20-10. Final score. Arkansas had a chance there. It was 13-10. Arkansas was driving. They fumbled the ball. I thought Arkansas looked dead in the water in the first half, but they were playing good enough on defense to keep them in the game. They could not get anything going on offense for the first 2.5 quarters of the game. Too many negative plays. I say this over and over and over and over and over again. The amount of drives that end because on 1st and 10 you go backwards is, I don't know the percentage this year, but it's fucking high. And these guys, like, over and over and over again, they get in behind the chains on second downs, and they had a tough time protecting early. Now in the second half, they come out, they find a way, they drive down the field, they score. Again, what we talked about, momentum got back in it. They got the ball down 13-10, and they're driving, and they fumble on the plus 30, trying to go up or tie the game or go up. And then Texas comes down and drives and scores and makes it 20-10. That was kind of over at that point in time. But Arkansas had,
I didn't realize they got in it like that.
It was 13-0. Then they scored to make it 13-7, and they got the ball back, had a chance to go down, and at the plus 30, they fumble in the fourth quarter. I mean, they got a chance to do this thing. And look, we keep saying the same thing. The team, I'm going to say it. I've heard you say it. I will say it for the 10th time. If things don't go right and Texas doesn't finish out the year undefeated, or they don't win these next 2, if they lose one of these next 2, I don't think they'll lose Saturday. They play Kentucky. But if they go into College Station and get beat, things could get weird playoff-wise for Texas because of resume. If it comes down to a resume thing, I don't want to be. If you're in the resume discussion, you don't want to be Texas.
I agree completely.
I know what the eyeballs look like. I get it. I watch the same thing. There's times when you look at them, you're like, these guys are fucking good. And there's times you look at it, but you look at the score, and you're like, man, they don't really. You may tell what it's like. It's like watching the Kansas City Chiefs. When you got Patrick Mahomes over there, and you're like, they should be scoring 50 points a game, but you look up and they've scored 16. Like, that's how I feel watching Texas. Like, it's tough. They don't score. Then they'll go beat up on somebody, but when they get challenged, that's I don't know. I'm really confused on Texas, just to be honest. I'm confused. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at.
I mean, they've kind of gotten fortunate. Their schedule's been a breeze. To their credit, they scheduled Michigan. It's not their fault that this was a year that Michigan sucked. I don't think they should be punished for that. But in the league, I mean, look at who they've beaten. They beat Vanderbilt there. It's a decent win, but that game was really close.
3-point game.
They went to Arkansas and won. We just talked about it. They beat Florida on a night when Florida was playing their third-string quarterback, or day, I should say. They've beaten Mississippi State,
10-point game,
who hasn't won a game in the league all year, and that was a competitive game. They frankly got spanked by Georgia. I mean, they frankly just got spanked by Georgia. They beat Oklahoma, who's not good. They don't have a really good win. Like, you look at the rest of the league, Alabama's got a Georgia win.
Ole Miss, Georgia,
Tennessee's got an Alabama win. Ole Miss has a Georgia win. Everybody's got a win. Like, A&M will have a Texas win. Everybody's got something. They don't have any. Their Christmas tree has nothing on the top of it. And that's, if you're in a Christmas tree competition, well, you need a big star on the top or something. You need something that goes, here's the top of our tree, because everybody's got some junk in the tree. Like, Bama's got the loss at Vandy. Ole Miss has that horrific loss against Kentucky at home that just looks worse and worse and worse by the week. And then Tennessee lost at Arkansas. Everybody's got a little flaw, but they don't have anything. And everybody goes, well, their brand, and they have a great brand. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know. I mean, you and I and we've talked about this a bunch. And here's you don't know, because we've never seen this committee lay out a 12-team tournament. We don't know what they're going to do. But I have this feeling that they're going to treat, and you agree with me, I think, they're going to treat the SEC and the Big Ten pretty evenly.
Yeah, it's a business. I mentioned this, and AJ will probably agree with this, or he can have his own opinion. Look, what I think personally, and then what the committee I feel is going to do, may be two different things. Like, hey, somebody asked me about Tennessee, Texas, and all that stuff, right?
Because you don't know.
Because we don't know. But here's how I feel. If you made me predict anything, you just said you have to come up with an answer. Here's where I'm at. I think the college football committee is going to make sure that the Big Ten and the SEC is treated fairly. They don't want to, even if somebody goes, well, Illinois or Indiana, if they lose to Ohio State, they're 11-1, but they haven't played anybody. I don't disagree with people who have that argument. I don't disagree with you. My point is this. I think there are at least 4 SEC teams that deserve to get in the playoff. At least, probably 5, but we'll say 4. They're not going to give the SEC and the Big Ten unequal numbers, because it's a business. If they piss off one of the two conferences and you say, hey, we're not Big Ten, we're not allowing an 11-1 team in from the Big Ten, the Big Ten and the SEC, just so everybody's clear, at any time they want to, they can pick up the phone and take their ball and go home. They can pick up their ball and go home.
And they can wreak absolute chaos on the game, because they can do that. They can start picking up the phone and calling some schools and going, hey, so
we're going to do this breakoff thing.
Hey, if you want to join, now's the time. And not that they would do it literally like that. That's not how it would work. But yeah, I mean, I the only scenario I see, and AJ, I'm curious if you agree, the only scenario I see where Indiana doesn't get in, assuming they beat Purdue, is if this Ohio State game is so bloody, bloody that everybody looks at it and goes, oh, for the love of God.
Yep.
Hey, come on. But if it's like I told you this before we started, the line's like, what, 12 13 points? If you tell me, we'll just go by the line. If you tell me it's a 30-17 game in Columbus and Indiana looks spunky at 11-1 in the Big Ten, y'all, not only are they in, I'm telling, they're hosting a game. That's 11-1. I could be wrong, and if I am, I'll be wrong. But I don't see a scenario where 11-1 Indiana doesn't make the field unless it's like 52-3 or something.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like I think Indiana's in unless, like you said, Neal, the Ohio State game is just where you can tell they're in two different classes of football, right? I think the committee won't punish the SEC teams as much because they just know how tough it is to play week to week in the SEC. I think they can see that. I think the average fan can see that. I think the one that hurts anybody is if you do lose an SEC game at home, like an Ole Miss losing at home versus Kentucky. I don't think they'll punish the teams as much losing on the road. I think that's what helps Alabama. Like, even though Vandy, that I still think that's a terrible loss for them because you ended up having more Alabama fans there at Vandy in that stadium, so it was basically a home game. But losing on the road to Tennessee, like, I think losing on the road in the SEC doesn't come with as much of a negative as other losses do. So I think they'll see that. I think that's what helps the SEC over the Big Ten when it comes down to why you could have more SEC teams than you would possibly a Big Ten. That would be my argument for the SEC. But I still think Indiana's in as long as it's not a bloodbath.
Yeah, I think I'm sticking with it. I think there's 4 Big Ten. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Well, you have a real shot if Oregon and Ohio State meet in a rematch and Ohio State wins this one. You have a real shot of having 4 11-1 Big Ten. Well, you'd have, I guess you'd have 2 12-1 Big Ten teams and 2 11-1 Big Ten teams. And in that scenario, I think they're all getting in.
Yeah.
I mean, we can argue about whether they deserve to get in or not, but I think they are. And then because we're so stupid and we do this thing with championship with participation trophies, it drives me nutty. And I told you guys in the summer this was going to backfire because it's dumb. We're doing this thing where we're going to let Boise State or somebody in. They don't belong in the tournament. We're going to put them in the tournament, and someone's going to get left out who does belong in the tournament. And I don't really know how they're going to sort that out. Like, I've told the people that listen to my morning show that's an Ole Miss show, I think Ole Miss is in because Ole Miss's resume, it does have that catastrophic bomb on it. But they have an 18-point win over Georgia. They have a 25-point win at South Carolina. So assuming they went out, that's too much that's too much for you to overlook them. But, like, you might leave Tennessee out of it. And Tennessee's like, we beat Alabama. I mean, you might have to leave Texas out of it at 10-2. And then I don't know how the SEC, in a world where A&M beats Texas, I don't know how the SEC figures out, what do you do about this championship game? Like, Lane Kiffin was asked about it today, and he's like, I don't want to go. And basically, nobody wants to. And he's like, I've talked to other coaches. Nobody wants to go to that game because the committee won't say, and I know they have to. But this is where the SEC's like, oh, God, this is going to get weird, right? All you got to do to get here, the only thing you have to do to get here, guys, is Texas A&M has to win at home against Texas. That is not far-fetched.
No.
That is not a reach. Mm-hmm. That's not, hey, ULM, go beat the Chiefs.
Right.
That's Texas A&M wins at home in a blood feud over Texas. You suddenly have a bunch of 2-loss teams. Well, the way the math works, at least I figured it out, is if 2 2-loss teams go play a championship game, one of those teams is going to end up as a 3-loss team. And now what?
Well, I brought that up last week, though. I brought that up last week. Remember, I said that where the SEC is really going to have some issues is, and I think one of their teams gets knocked out, and a Boise State or a Notre Dame or somebody like that gets brought into the picture over them is because of the SEC championship. I think it's a real issue. I really do. Like, I think they're going to have some big problems, and they're going to lose a team. Hell, in the future, they could lose 2 teams to the tournament. I almost said it. Ooh,
you did.
Call myself.
No,
Look at you.
you're-
Wait,
hey,
are you are everybody's got a boss, don't they, AJ? Everybody's got a boss. I know. I can tell you this. I know who runs that household. I know who runs that household now. It has been determined on Mac 10 Monday on 11/18/2024 that Catherine Webb McCarron runs that household.
Well, here's a little life advice courtesy of our friend Cole Walters at State Farm Insurance. Sometimes that's just the best way to be. Sometimes there are, again, as I always tell young fellas, there's fights worth fighting and there's fights not worth fighting. You know what I mean? And if it's, hey, dial it back on the show this week, probably good advice. It's probably advice that's, you know what, that's worth taking.
Yeah, it's all right.
Sometimes it's just probably going to have some people watching. Just probably that's probably wise, sage advice on her part.
Who was more pissed at you, Catherine or D?
No, my mom, for sure.
Okay.
Catherine was just like disappointed because she didn't want the kids to see the clips.
That's worse.
Yeah,
That's
but
worse.
not my mom. My mom is probably definitely more pissed when I say those words.
That's life advice brought to you by State Farm. Cole Walters of State Farm Insurance. Cole licensed in auto, health, home, life, business, and even pet insurance for the whole state of Georgia. Contact Cole at 706-525-7850. You can also find him online at colewaltersinsurance.com.
All right, two other games. We'll hop around. Two other games. Florida beats LSU 27-16. Thought it was a big win for Florida.
Yeah, they look good.
Billy had said prior to the game it was the best week of practice that they had. That says a lot about culture when you come off of getting thumped on the road in Texas and have that good of a week of practice. Look, I think when DJ Lagway is in the game, he's not like a savior to college football by any stretch of the imagination. But again, same thing we kind of talked about with AJ earlier. He makes the other 10 guys around him better. And it's not that he does enough. You know what I mean? He knows where to go with the ball, knows what to do. Sometimes he's still a rookie, and he about got deked with simulated pressure last week. But he's still a freshman, is going to make mistakes. But the other 10 guys believe in him. Yeah, and they play better. I thought ever since they came out of that bye week after the Texas A&M game, they have played really solid football. It makes you kind of wonder. You wish if they hadn't had any injuries, what would have happened in the Georgia game? What would have happened in the Texas game? With those guys being played. But look, I think that is, to me, everybody going back to what I'm going to incorporate this in the Ole Miss fans. Okay, if I'm an Ole Miss fan, I'm not worried about who's ranked ahead of me and all that stuff. You win, you're in. That's it. And so the focus has to be going to Saturday.
Saturday's going to be a real deal now.
Yeah, you win by 1 point, you earn it.
Yeah.
Okay, because now you got a Florida team that's got confidence, has kind of got proof of concept a little bit. When you start being on these
great
teams,
environment.
Yeah, being on these teams that you're trying to rebuild a program or start over. Once you get that taste of victory and you know what it takes to get there, and you've been that close, there's always a boost. Okay. Everybody's had the proof of concept. AJ was on a team that had proof of concept, right? No, that was a year after you. But Mark Barron and the guys, they went a year earlier. Saban starts out 6-6 with a loss to Monroe, right? And they just grind their ass.
That's the rumor.
That's the rumor.
I heard about that.
You heard about that one?
I'm aware of that particular contest.
And but you see, when you finally learn how to win, it kind of gives you a boost. We did the same thing at Arkansas State. We went from 4-8 to 12-1, whatever the hell we were, 10-2, whatever it was. We won a league, and I think we won 11 games. I can't remember. But when we finally started, hey, we go and beat Western Kentucky on the road by fluke, and then we go beat Monroe, and then it just kind of takes off. And so that's the thing to me, is just the confidence level, where I think Florida is in a good spot for that game this weekend. I think Ole Miss knows what's coming though, but I think it'll be a hell of a game on Saturday. But the story of this game for me is this game came real simple. They couldn't protect Nussmeier.
And 7 sacks.
I mean, I think that was the most sacks he's received more than any other time total.
He'd been sacked 6 times all season going into the game, and he was sacked 7 times in Gainesville.
Yeah,
and then on his touchdown pass, again, it was almost like the same play he hit to win the game versus Ole Miss on the through route up the middle. But he was a split second away from getting sacked again or a sacked fumble because he was getting hit and his arm was getting hit as he threw it. I don't know how the hell he got it out there that far, but they could not protect him, man. And their defense sucks. I don't care. They suck.
They abused the inside three. They abused them, particularly. I think it was one of the guards.
I got this week circled. Quit watch. Here's the deal about LSU. When you got it rolling, that's a really hard place to play. When they're rolling, that's a tough place to play because their fans get in it and it's loud. It gets loud. Don't let anybody ever tell you that that's overrated. No, it gets loud. But when they're bad, and they've been bad some, when they're bad, their fans turn on them in a way that most fans don't, and that place becomes a home field disadvantage. They get nasty at their own team fast. It's just the way it is. It's a culture thing. I'm not criticizing it. It's the way it is. And I'm telling you, Vanderbilt's not quitting. And LSU, this is quit watch.
Okay.
This is quit watch because you're not at LSU.
You locking you in for Thursday already?
No, but I'm thinking about it. I'll tell you, when that line came out at 9, I'm like, I don't hate that. LSU, they opened the season. They were playing for a championship. They were playing to go to the playoffs. They believed they were a playoff team. They're not a playoff team now. Even last week, everybody was doing this delusional. Well, if this thing happens and this thing happens and Saturn lines up.
Talking about that 2014 parlay didn't hit?
If Saturn lines up just right with Pluto at the right exact – no. But they were talking themselves into that. That's all gone now. It's all gone.
I'll tell you, one thing that aggravates me about them is Brian Kelly.
Man.
The way he goes off on players on the sidelines. All right, listen, it's different from Coach Saban, right? Because Coach Saban had a different respect factor about him. All right, you knew the guy knew how to win. And I'm not knocking Brian Kelly and saying he's not a good coach, but what has he won really to like – I mean, I couldn't imagine playing quarterback for him. After it's before the play even freaking ends. He's already on the sideline, and the camera knows it because it doesn't matter if they're playing on ESPN, Fox, whoever. Like, they automatically just zoom straight to him, and he's already got the headset off the ear part, and he's just yelling at Nuss. Like, you can't coach that way in the middle of the game. Coach him up on the sideline or coach him up in film, but gosh damn, after every play, I don't care if it's the quarterback or whoever, like, you make kids second guess themselves while they're playing, and you can't play the game of football thinking. You have to fucking react. Sorry, blew it. But you have to. And yeah. It pisses me off. Like, it really does watching him coach, because it's like, when's the last time he's put out a really good quarterback? And he's just,
last year.
Jaden Daniels.
He didn't put him out, though. He was going to be good regardless.
I'm a Brian Kelly fan. I know you're not. I'm a BK fan. And again, I'll stand on here by hey, that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I love you, still love you guys. Still love you. Okay. I'm a BK fan. And so yesterday I sent this to Scoops. So Saturday night when we did a TikTok live, we had 42,000 people in there. Okay. 42,000 people in a TikTok live. Do you know how many BK we need to fire BK comments or that thing?
41,904
from just about everybody. All right. I'm going to tell you the same thing that I said it last week on the show. I'll say it this week and I'll continue to say it. There is no sense if you're an LSU fan. By the way, I watched Matt Moscana and
T-Bob.
Oh man, that shit's entertaining.
Dude, T-Bob's awesome.
You talking about
that
somebody
show
that
gets some
job.
serious numbers now?
Hey, you talking about a show that would need a dump truck for a curse jar?
Yeah, come on.
It makes me laugh though. They're great. All right, for the whole crowd that's so upset with Brian Kelly that they want him fired. So here's my advice. He's not going anywhere until at worst November of 2029. He has a $60.8 million buyout. that goes to $52 million after next year. That goes to 43 million the year
well,
after.
If he's going to keep losing like this, he needs to be super careful where he eats. I'm going to tell you that.
So
I'm just going to tell you, like, hey, make somebody taste the gumbo first. Because listen, that is not. I'm just telling you. I know what you're saying. That is not a place that is going to handle that for long.
So before Siskey finishes sharing his love for him, I'm gonna make a comparison, just see if Neal's on the same. If we're just fucking paddling the same boat together, all right? He is the male version of Kamala Harris. When he did his first introduction and he all of a sudden came out with that fucking fake Southern accent, I was like, good Lord, what are we watching? Like, he had been up north for 90% of his life, and all of a sudden he comes down. He's one day. He's in the middle of the basketball court at a basketball game, and all of a sudden he has a Southern accent.
All of a sudden, he's Boudreaux.
Get the hell out of here.
He's Boudreaux from Thibodeau. Hello, everyone.
this is where I go on record and say, I love Brian Kelly. I do.
All I'm going to tell you, Brian, is listen, if this is where we're going, when they tell you, oh, that's just filet powder. I don't know what it is. You better be careful, because that's how they'll get out of that contract.
So, again,
Anthrax making a comeback.
He's not staying until 2029 if they don't win big. I'm just flat telling you. And it's not about whether you like him or dislike him or think he's fake or think whatever. They're not going to put up with that. If he doesn't win big at LSU soon, it's not going to work. I'm telling you. I'm a Louisiana guy. I know people. I'm just telling you, that deal, nope. And this is where I tell people all the time, you can do the whole, well, that's not realistic expectations, Neal. I don't disagree. But you know what? Perception at LSU, and you can be an Alabama guy or an Auburn guy or whatever and go, they're out of their freaking minds. That's cool. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. The perception among LSU people, the ones who pay the bills, the people who put the money in that stadium, the people who support, the people who believe in that program, their perception is they should be at the absolute top of the food chain. And if they're not, for an extended period of time, he'll pay for it. I'm just flat telling you. That is an absolute fact. That is a fact. Like, that'd be like at Alabama. Somebody goes to Alabama in the next, like, it looks like DeBoer's going to make the playoffs. He'll probably win the damn thing. That's just how that place is. But if he were to go through, like, they lost to Vanderbilt, people were like, firing. And they meant it. They meant it. He lost
the dynasty is over.
They lost in Knoxville, and people are like, that's it.
It's over.
I don't know who this bum is. Well, look, the difference is, and I mean, I'm saying this assuming that Alabama's going to beat, I don't know, who do they play this week?
Who?
Alabama.
Oklahoma
and Auburn. I'm assuming Alabama wins those two games and makes the playoffs. That'll shut people up. But the expectation there is it is what it is. And when that is the expectation, that's reality. It's localized reality. If the perception of the people that make the decisions is we should be a championship program, then you should be a championship program. Even if an outsider will look at that and go, well, look, can I show you all the flaws? The outsiders has no say. And I'm just telling you, at LSU, the internal perception is we should be a championship program. And right now, they're not.
Oh, I agree. First of all, for the record, I agree with what you're saying. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just telling you, I know the reality of it is it's $60 million buyout. Next year's a $52 million. And with revenue sharing, LSU is not in a position to do that.
I'm aware. Be careful with the gumbo.
So, I
think, mean, you wouldn't taste the bleach in that till it's too late.
I just grew up with enough Cajuns my entire life and been around LSU fans to know as soon they are some of the realest people you will ever meet. And as soon as he did that fake accent, he already lost half of the fan base just off that. Like they were pissed off to begin with. And now you go in and you don't win to their level of expectation. It's even worse.
Yep. And God, y'all, they're so close to being a train wreck. Like, we do the this team's 2 plays, this team's 2 plays. And I realize football does. We could do this with everybody. Do you realize how close they are to being an absolute train wreck?
Oh, yeah, we can do that with everybody, right?
A penalty on South Carolina, Ole Miss a fumble. I mean, 2 plays. And they're, what are they, 4 losses now? 3 losses? They'd be at 5 losses?
They're at 4. USC.
They're at 4. That's right. They've lost 4 games, and they're probably not through losing.
USC, Alabama, Saturday, into Texas A&M.
Yep.
Because if I'm Garrett Nussmeier after that Saturday, I'm like, hey, listen, I need to go into this offseason in one piece.
Yeah, I don't think he's built like that, though.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah. All right, last game. Georgia, 31, Tennessee, 17. I'm going to make a couple of hot takes on this one. One is it's almost like protecting the quarterback matters. Georgia won this game 2 ways. One, they actually did do what we talked about last week. They did move the protection point a few times. Not a lot, but they did move it enough to change the protection point. They protected the quarterback. He was able to extend the field vertically,
and lo and behold, he played better when he was protected.
Crazy how that works out.
Crazy, man. I mean,
I thought they did a really good job protecting him, especially versus the front. You know,
AJ, back when you were quarterbacking, did you prefer the games where you got hit 14,000 times, or were the games where the pocket was clean? I'm just curious.
Yeah,
it
always helps when the pocket's clean.
And I thought Georgia did a really good job in personnel groupings. I thought they mixed the tight end groupings in there and got some formations and got some mismatches and coverage and zones and things like that. I thought they did a really good job with the tight end package. They were able. That's who. I mean, I pretty much just about all their explosive plays were the tight ends. And then Carson Beck ran. He used his feet a little bit, extended some drives.
He did.
I thought the 3rd down call to run the clock out, they went Q sweep power. First time maybe in the history of Georgia football since Kirby's been there did they run Q sweep power. I'm sure they've ran it before, but that's not that's more of it's not a staple for a non-running quarterback. But Carson Beck, I thought he did a good job there. Then my second hot take is this. In a losing effort, I thought Tennessee played their best game of the year.
Oh yeah, I thought they played really hard. I mean,
in a losing effort, I thought Nico played his best game at quarterback. Yeah. And look, Dylan Sampson, and this is why I don't buy into the Genty Heisman stuff. Dylan Sampson, to me, again, this is my opinion, which all you people out there can kiss my ass. This is just my opinion. You're welcome to have yours. Dylan Sampson is the best running back in the country. And he's better than Genty. I see stats just like everybody else. Best running back in the country. That dude ran possessed. He is hard to tackle. And he's doing a lot with not a great offensive line, just an average offensive line run blocking wise.
Comparison, Alvin Kamara is who he looks like when he runs to me.
Probably got a little bit more break tackle than Alvin was probably more elusive, but actually after contact, I think he's Alvin Kamara was good. How about that running back room, dude? Was that your freshman year last year?
Yeah, my last year.
Had Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, Kenyon Drake, and Altine Tenpenny, God rest his soul, and TJ Yeldon. That's a pretty good running back room.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Then you had the Coop to throw to.
No, only 2 of them played.
Yeah. That was when I got my ass ripped over the. That was the year. We played Arkansas at home your last year, right? No, we went on the road. No, we played them at home. We beat them really bad.
Yeah, we played them at home.
That was when I got in trouble for yelling score, score, score when Derrick Henry got in the end of the game and ran outside zone for 80. And then Nick was yelling, "Who's yelling score? Tell him to go down. Tell him to go down." Who was that? I was like, it was that guy. I don't know who said that. I don't know who that was.
I thought, to talk about that game, I thought Carson looked the best in the pocket from just setting his feet, though.
Yeah.
Like, he took his drop. His feet were set. He wasn't falling backwards, throwing off balance, like going back in the pocket, which he does a lot. He'll hop back and back and back and then kind of fall off. Like, I thought he was set, kind of set the pocket, let the O-line work from there, let them know kind of where you're going to be, which makes the job for the O-line easier. But I thought his feet were set and he delivered the ball well. I thought that was the best he had looked as well too.
Yeah, no, he was really good.
It's like Josh Heupel said, man, it's a really good league.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a really good league. There are not many bad teams in the league, and there's a lot of good teams, and those middle teams are perfectly capable on given days of rising up and causing you real problems, as we've seen all season. To me, it's the difference between the SEC and the Big Ten is. This year in particular, I think the SEC. We'll find out because I think they're going to get some matchups. I think the SEC's head and shoulders better than the Big Ten this year. I don't think it's particularly close.
To me, the difference in the SEC and the Big Ten this year, I know adding 18 teams and all that stuff. The difference is, they got 4, and you can say you got 4. It's that middle.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about.
It's like 5.
Yeah, as a whole
9.
conference.
Yeah, as a whole, 5 through 9, and hell, even the back end of it, right? I mean,
you're just not seeing in the Big Ten the games that you're seeing in the SEC, like that South Carolina Missouri game,
right?
Where those two teams have each lost now 3 games, and those two teams would both be hell in the Big Ten, guys.
100%.
South Carolina would wreck some Big Ten teams, wreck them. And
they're what, the 9th best team in the league, technically 8th.
Carolina like 7th or so, but you watch. Do you really think Georgia or Ole Miss or Alabama would go to the Big Ten and lose twice? I don't.
No.
I really don't. I just don't.
Yeah.
Hell, it's the same Wisconsin team that Bama played, and Oregon only beats them by 3. And Bama went up there and beat the shit out of them.
Just destroyed them. Yeah, and that was we'll find out because I think we're going to get matchups.
You will see a Big Ten SEC matchup. I'll bet y'all anything you want to bet. An SEC team plays a Big Ten team in the playoffs. I will bet that. I feel confident about that.
I think we're going to get 2 of them in the on-campus games.
See, that's what I'm curious. All kidding aside, what I'm the most curious about, and everybody's talking about the playoffs. Well, who does this? The thing I'm most curious about in the playoffs is do they dick with seeding to get not conference opponents. You know what I'm saying?
I think they will. They do it.
That's what I want to see.
They do it in basketball. They do it in baseball. I think it's what the TV people would want. What would you rather see if you're random Joe in Fargo, North Dakota? Do you want to see Penn State, Alabama, or do you want to see Alabama, Ole Miss?
Right.
Do you want to see Georgia, Ole Miss, or do you want to see Georgia, Ohio State? I think
I'll tell you another. Another interesting thing to think about is SEC teams going up north in the first round of the tournament to play in possibly snow, cold, and rainy, in weather that they've never played in late in the season. I think that's also, or vice versa, a northern team that's used to the cold, and all of a sudden they come down south and play, and it's still hot for them.
Humidity.
Yeah,
depends on where you go, the humidity or snow.
It's why I'm really fascinated. I think what we're about to see is the way this thing's going to shake out. Is the Big Ten's going to have a bunch of 1-loss teams, and the SEC is going to have a bunch of 2-loss teams, and I think they're going to seed the 1-loss team higher. That's what I think is going to happen. I could be wrong. We don't know.
We'll find out.
And if that happens, you're going to get those kind of matchups. You're going to get Georgia at Penn State. You're going to get Ole Miss at Indiana. The guy with Yahoo did a mock today that I looked at it, and the more I looked at it, the more I was like, I think I agree with this guy kind of across the board. And he had to make some assumptions because there's still games left that he had to sort of predict, right? So it's if he ends up being wrong, people are like, you're an idiot. No, who knows, right? And these things typically work themselves out. Like there's going to be some upset. Someone's going to upset somebody because it just happens. But in that world, I think he had Georgia at Penn State. I think he had Alabama at Notre Dame, and he had Ole Miss at Indiana. And if I'm the TV people, I'm like, oh, yeah, sign me up. That's what they want. And I think they'll manipulate numbers a little bit to get the matchups that the TV people want. And frankly, I don't have a problem with that because the TV people are paying the freight.
Yeah, no, they're paying the bills. I will say this, and I'm going to continue to say it through the rest of the year. The best group of 5 team in the country is Tulane.
Well, and this is why...
And it's not even close.
This is why going full circle, if I'm Arkansas, for example, just being real here. The whole Pittman thing, if I think, okay, he can save it next year and we can kind of get going, okay, sure. But if I think, listen, this is a great guy, it's a cute story, blah, blah, blah. I would want to hire John Summerall. And if I'm the only SEC job open, I'm going to have a better shot at hiring, at getting out of my league a little bit, right? Getting the girl that I otherwise wouldn't be able to get. Like if I walk into the bar and it's me and 3 other really good-looking guys, I'm not leaving with the best-looking girl. But if I walk into the bar and I'm the only guy, at least I have a fighting chance.
Last Man on Earth. What's that? Did you ever see that show on Fox? It was Last Man on Earth.
I didn't see.
That is a great, funny show.
But
anyway.
but my point stands, right? I mean, so you got a chance, and that's a rare thing. You've got a chance to be the only school in the SEC with the job opening. You're gonna have a little better shot at hitting the home run than if you wait. Like because you wait a year. I know what you say, but you wait a year. LSU might open. Some other stuff might open, and all of a sudden you have no shot whatsoever at a guy like Summerall. And I think what John's proven at Tulane and at Troy before that is this guy knows how to run a program. So I can't imagine what this guy would do if you put him at a place and gave him some resources.
I hit John with a stat on Saturday that he didn't know. Let me give you a fun John Summerall fact that nobody knows. It was on TV. So the TV people knew it, so I shared it with him. He didn't know it. Did you know that John Summerall is a head coach? And he's been a head coach this is his 3rd season as a head coach. Do you know he is 25 after Saturday? He is 25-0 as a head coach when he outrushes the opponent.
Oh,
damn.
25-0. So I was like, yeah, I've been there going, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball.
I'll tell you another coach I think be a good fit because he has a little bit of Coach Pittman feel to him is Barry Odom.
Yeah, and that's the name. That is the name that has been very prominent there for the better part of 2 months.
Because he's a guy that has been successful with not much resources behind him. So it's a guy that, hey, he can come in, he's been a part of something like this, and can we help him out even more and see what he does with it? Like,
and he's been there before as the defensive coordinator. He was popular,
right.
And he probably would retain Petrino is what I've heard. Obviously the UNLV thing with their NIL, he's got a bolt.
Huh? They got a problem.
You got an issue. He's got a bolt. So there's just a lot. This time of year gets really interesting. But man, this whole playoff thing that everybody does. And look, something's going to happen. Someone's going to get beat that we're all talking about, and that's going to be
It'll all work itself out.
But if it doesn't, it's going to be really interesting to see how that all shakes out because –
yeah, the thing I'm most curious about is the calendar, right? I mean, it's just – I'm sitting here, I was talking to Buddy today. It's weird that there's going to be a signing day, December 4th or whatever it is, and there's no contact period before that. So you can't go in homes and visit the kid. There's no home visits before. That's just it's a weird – everything's different, right? Then you go straight into.
But there's not a lot of high school drama to be had right now.
You still need to go to the house, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
most of the kids they're pretty locked. It's. I can tell you this. There's a segment of people that they have a hard time understanding that it has really changed. I mean, the calendar has really moved up in a way that I don't like. I know there's a couple of kids that could do some last minute flips and stuff because that kids are wired that way,
mm-hmm.
but it's nowhere close to like what it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, but that's still the home visit part is an important part of the recruiting process to get to know each other. You want to, I mean, like when you come to campus, which is.
But now there's less pressure on a kid because if a kid goes, hey, I'm going to go to school X, I think I like it, blah blah blah. But if it doesn't work out, I mean. He can get in the portal in April.
Shit,
I mean, he literally can leave. There's less pressure on, hey, we got to make sure we make the right first decision. No, you really don't. You don't. If it's bad, you're just going to have a bad spring. You could literally leave before your first – you could sign with the school and get in the portal and leave before you ever go through a preseason camp. Think about that. With no penalty and go somewhere else and play. So no, there's a complete different level. I'm not criticizing.
No, I know what you're saying.
There's a completely different level of pressure on everybody. And for the schools, they're like, hey, we'll bring him in. We think he might have some issues. We're not positive. You bring him in, you find out, yeah, he's a disaster. You're like, hey, you need a portal.
Yeah.
And he's gone. I mean, it's totally
crazy.
It's totally different than what it was, and it's like these people that are, and I get it, they're just fans, and they love that drama and all the coverage and stuff. And I'm like, guys,
there's no drama.
It's just different than what it was. It's completely different.
And then I won't mention who it was, but I was talking on the way over here. I was talking to one of our clients. We're talking about some stuff, and then we're like, yeah, we got official visits. I mean, they're right in the middle. They're trying to cram in these official visits in, and they're getting ready for a game, and then you're going to a bowl. This team's going to a bowl game,
and you're watching film on the pre-portal.
Yeah, you're watching portal film, and he goes, This team I talked to is not going to the playoffs.
Yeah,
and they were talking about, I can't imagine going to the playoffs.
Can you imagine?
And then trying to bring portal kids in, maintain your roster. Oh, and then we're getting ready for the most important time. And a lot of these schools, here's the things. A lot of these schools, like your Blue Bloods, right? Your Alabamas, Georgia, they're kind of used to doing this. Ole Miss has never been in a position like this. If they get into the playoffs, it's the biggest moment in program history.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're trying to hold their roster, go get guys, get ready for the game. And it's just that part of it to me is the most asinine part of America, is to have the number one free agency period going on at the freaking playoffs.
Well, think about this. And Lane answered it honestly. I don't remember the exact question or the exact answer, but paraphrased, it was, essentially, what do you think about the championship game? And if you're as a two, blah, blah, and his answer essentially was, look, if you're kind of guaranteed to be in,
don't go.
With all the other stuff going on, I'd rather not. Think about that. A coach, and when you hear it, you go, yeah, I agree. A coach going, no, I'd rather not compete for the championship. And he wasn't saying it like that. He was giving a straight answer, and the answer was exactly right. Like, why would you – I mean, there are going to be two SEC teams that on Wednesday are putting a recruiting class finalized, and on Thursday are leaving for Atlanta to be there for the media day for SEC championship day. That's insanity. And when they get back from that, one of them has probably got a game in 2 weeks. Oh, and the portal's open. And you've got guys on your team that need to go take visits because they're not staying at Alabama or Texas or wherever, and they need to go take visits. And you kind of still need them to be around because they're depth. They're special teams. They're whatever. I mean, it's so stupid.
Yeah, no, 100%. All right, I got two things we got to get off. I got two things for you. A little funny side here. Did you watch the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight on Friday?
Yeah.
Did you watch that? Scoops, I know you're getting on. I will tell you this. The Netflix has got a lot to figure out between now. Did you buffer? Did you have a problem with your buffering and all that stuff on your TV?
Yeah, it was all over.
Can you imagine? Like, they think they got some issues over the Jake Paul stuff on Twitter. Can you imagine being in the middle of a game on Christmas Day? And
no, they're gonna have issues. I mean, it's a good test run for them, and hopefully they figure everything out. But getting into sports and hosting football games, like, it's gonna be rough.
All right, so yes or no, was the fight fixed?
So I saw a video. I possibly. I saw a video. And, maybe other people can confirm, there was a ton of rules versus Tyson on getting paid. Have you seen that?
Yes. I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw a video where it said that he got paid per how long the fight went.
So if he knocked him out in the first round, he only got a quarter of his pay or didn't get paid at all. If he knocked him out before the third round, he only got like half of his pay. The only way he got fully paid is if it went all 8 rounds, and he either got knocked out at the point, or it went all 8 rounds to a decision of Jake winning.
Yeah, it was now I will say this. I knew he was on some stuff. Like I told you this when we went to the UFC fight. This has been a year and a half ago. We went to the UFC pay-per-view in Dallas. He sat right in front of us. All right. And he walked in when he was walking in to sit down, he was on a cane. He was using a cane to walk around. This dude's boxing around. I was like, hey, that stuff's undefeated, man. I mean, he had some good stuff going that he felt.
When you look at his training videos from a couple weeks ago, he looks like he's still young. I'm like, holy shit! And then he walks out, he trips as he's walking out. He's got a knee sleeve on. I'm like, oh god, this ain't good. I mean, he looked old then. I'm like, He does not look anything like his training videos from a week to 2 weeks before when they were showing him.
There was a tempo change between round 1 and round 2. I know that. Like he had some
100%.
opportunities to hurt him and all that in the first round. And then he just, did you watch any of it?
No.
Yeah. And good thing you didn't, because it buffered forever. We were just talking about how Netflix is going to have games on Christmas and they're going to really struggle if they think that's a problem. All right. Last thing. This is the most important thing of the whole show. I had to get this in. All right. The Congressional Oversight Committee had 4 experts in last week, where the 4 experts told Congress that we have retrieved crashed vehicles. There are aliens and they live in the ocean as well. True or false?
100% true.
Are you
on
board yet?
I've always been on board.
But are you on
too
board?
many UFO videos of them going underwater and then shooting up out of the water. Like, hell, there's 90 or 87% or 95% of the ocean never been discovered. Like, it's something crazy like that, but because we can't get to the depths. I mean,
is that true?
No, that's 100% true. Look it up. I think it's like,
go ahead.
We took people to the moon, but
allegedly. Hey, do you know? Hey, AJ, do you know in 1969 we put 3 human beings in a tin can and shot them to the moon and brought them back?
Hollywood did all that.
Hey, but here's my thing. All kidding aside, here's my thing. This has like been the greatest question on planet Earth my whole life. And they have a congressional hearing where 4 people tell them we have a crash retrieval department of the government that's not on that you don't know you're paying for. We have biological evidence. They're not humans. We've recovered them. NASA guy says that we quit our underwater deal because of it. They're in the ocean, all this stuff. 4 people. Not one news station covered it. Not one news station covered it. No, it wasn't on anything. Not one. Why?
I don't know.
Not one news said on the news. Not one. They're not covering it. It should be the number one story.
Where did you read about it? Who wrote it?
No, I watched the whole hearing.
Was it on like C-SPAN or something?
I'll send it to you right now. I don't know. I watched the whole. It was like 2.5 hours long. I watched the whole thing. My brother-in-law.
Listen, when I tell you one of the best podcasts other than ours to go listen to, when Joe Rogan had Bob Lazar on, this is when I knew, all right, shit's real. Bob Lazar in the early 90s got famous off of, he had a Honda, and he was a mechanical engineer. And he put a jet engine in his Honda and would drive to work in California with a jet engine. All right. He ended up, he was like self-taught, extremely smart, ended up working for Area 51, ended up getting caught because he told a couple friends he wasn't supposed to tell, didn't even tell his wife. He ended up getting divorced off of it. But him and his friend went out there and watched on the flight nights when they were testing UFOs, basically, when we figured out how to fly them, and ended up getting caught, fired, let go. I mean, they erased him going to school. He went to MIT, and the government erased him from even ever acting like he didn't go to school there. And he was on the front page and working at I forget the place out in Cali that he worked for, but like they erased everything. And he said they have all different types of at Area 51, but it's called Area like 52 or other basically sections of it where he's gone in and they have all different types of UFOs, smaller ones, big ones. He's like, we figured out his partner ended up dying, getting electrocuted because it had this electric force field that they ended up, he died, it would basically push you away. But I'm telling you, go watch that. It's one of the most insane things. But hell, they've been trying to say he's crazy But he's been saying that since the 90s.
You know what, AJ? In case they have a tough time finding their way back to Area 51, do you know what they can do? They need to go to PTG Outdoors, where they can discover Garmin from cycling and running watts indoor cycling. Garmin brings innovation to your fitness journey. You can track your health metrics. Probably need to do that when you go to Area 51. Garmin brings all innovation to your fitness journey. Explore maps. Enjoy GPS precision for cycling, golf, and outdoor adventures. Dive deeper. Listen here, NASA. Dive deeper into the oceans that we do not know. With swim tracking, train smarter with dog tracking tools and monitor performance on land and water. Explore Garmin's range, including smartwatches, scales, and advanced off-road instruments available now at PTG Outdoors. And don't forget to enter MPW. When you go to PTGOutdoors.com, buy anything, do not forget to enter MPW into the promo code so you can enter for the November giveaway. Also, Scoops, if you need to run away from the aliens, if they're coming after you, before you get going too far, stop by Kia of Meridian. Are you looking for an unbeatable deal? Kia of Meridian has you covered with rates as low as 1.9% on new rides, whether it's the ever-popular Telluride, the Sorrento, the Sportage, or K5. We've got something for everyone. Plus, a huge selection of new and used vehicles. And here's the best part. With any new or used vehicle purchase, you'll get a chance to spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, and more. Don't wait. Come by Kia of Meridian or call 601-483-6444 and drive away a winner. Kia of Meridian, your road, your ride, your deal.
We've also been brought to you by, speaking of Louisiana, Parish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Their simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they've done it. They've done it. Here's proof. This is Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from their favorite farm in, I think it's, let's see, someone corrected me, Yakima Valley, Washington. Expect pungent grapefruit aromas and flavors, tropical fruit, less harsh bitterness than most double IPAs. They also have Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable juice bomb. It's got everything you need. Sneaky good, considering it clocks in at 6% ABV. Goes down like a glass of freshly squeezed juice. If it says Parish on the label, you can count on it. It's 5 o'clock in the East Coast almost. It's happy hour. I mean, I've still got hours of work to do, but if you don't, get you a Dr. Juice. And if you do have hours of work, now would be a great time to crush a Reign Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve all of your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Reign Body Fuel to learn more.
That's all I got today, Holmes.
Siskey. Pat, in the chat, did you see, said he loves the show, but he doesn't understand. I don't know if he's talking about the profanity, because I really didn't use any today. I think I only did, said one bad word, possibly.
I think you got
up to like 4, but you did good though.
4.
Yeah, you beat me today. I don't think I said. How many did I say today?
I mean, no more than 1 or 2.
Ha ha ha! You beat me. Tell Catherine you're the loser. You're the loser.
I don't know about that. I got to go back and rewatch.
Yakima. Isn't that what I said originally was Yakima?
Brother.
And everybody corrected me. I was like, well, okay, I give up. In Washington, damn it. Okay, Washington.
$50 for scoops. $50 for scoops.
All right, for AJ McCarron, for Tyler Siskey, I'm Neal McCready. That does it for this edition of McCready and Siskey, powered by Reign Total Body Fuel. Tyler and I'll be back with you tomorrow. Until then, have a great rest of your Monday evening. Take care.